This is a piece of hardwood I found on the beach combing last week. I showed it on the video. So what I'm going to be doing today is Dremel carving is carving the three amigos wood spirits in here just like this. So when you're carving the wood spirits like this, you want to try and not hit the edge of the wood because you can see it's got that color's got like a nice old driftwood color on the outside of it, like sun bleached. But if we hit the edge, we hit the edge. I'll probably hit the edge because I'm just heavy hands and I wreck things. So I put this tape on my finger here because when you're holding, so I'm going to be running the Dremel Flex Shaft 4000. When you're holding the flex shaft, even for the very beginners, it leaves a dent in this side of the finger. So I call this Carving Fusion Warrior tape. So I just put this on there so this the flex shaft doesn't dent my finger in right there. So we're running the Dremel Flex Shaft. Oh, this is going to be a nightmare video. I can tell right now. Dremel 4000 with the flex shaft and the Kutzall. With the Kutzall bits. If you guys want to get these bits, just go to the description below. It will take you to the Kutzall site. Use the code CFusion. You'll save yourself 5%. So this is the Fordham SR series. Yeah, it's kind of dusty. Fordham SR series, and I run the industrial flex shaft on it. So the industrial flex shaft is a square drive flex shaft, okay? So that means the inner flex shaft is square drive. It's thicker and stronger than the normal key drive flex shaft, and you don't break them as often. But when you buy this industrial flex shaft, you got to buy the hand piece too. It goes along. You cannot use the key drive flex shaft, which is the piece on the inside, for the square drive. So you need to make sure you buy yourself the hand piece too, the square drive hand piece, right? So a square drive flex shaft, square drive hand piece. And yes, it hooks up to the Fordham SR series, all right? So this might be probably a voiceover because this is hardwood. Lots of you guys don't get the opportunity to carve softwood, so this is hardwood. So I'm going to be carving pretty heavy hands today, so pretty quick. So I'm going to do a voiceover, I think, and I'm going to show you guys what burrs I'm going to be using. I think I'm going to start off with these cheap Chinese, if I can get it out of here, these little 3 flute cutters. I'll be starting, look, I got lots. I even got more. I'll be using some of these burrs. I'll be using Kutzalls. These burrs, these aluminum cutting burrs you get on Amazon, they're in my Amazon store. If you look down below in my descriptions, these cut hardwood really good, but you have to use them a certain way. You can't cut like up the stairs with these. You have to cut kind of with the grain down. Just remember when you're using these, cut down. You don't want to carve up the stairs, carve down the stairs, and I'll explain that to you later on. So I think let's just kind of get on with it. We'll draw this. I don't know what type of wood this is. I think it might be, I don't know. I can tell it's hardwood because it's heavy. It's dry and it's heavy. So I'm going to get these 3 amigos put on here and start carving. I'll draw them on. And you guys, when you do ones like this, you want to cut the outline first and clear all this wood because you're going to carve all inside here first, right? So you want to cut deep on these lines and then start rounding the wood on the inside, if that makes any sense. Well, this is already 4 minutes. Holy cow. Okay, bye. Also, thanks to Mr. Brian Moore, we got some new Carving Fusion stickers in the house. Oh yes, there's a Geordie Wood Spirit Heavy Hands. Look at that face right there. Yep, we got a whole pile of them. So thanks again, Brian, and out there in the UK. So these will be getting handed out sooner or later. We'll figure it out. Okay, the first thing when you're going to get into carving a piece of wood like this, you want to see how it's going to sit best on the wall. So if you don't have a flat table, put it outside on the cement, concrete, whatever, and see where it's going to sit. So this is kind of rocky. So I know this is going to be the top. And when I put a hanger on the back, this won't be just a hole. I'll put a little wire hanger on the back. And then once it's on the wall, it will sit like that, right? So do you kind of follow me? So then you got to think of where you want to put your carving. And I'm not a big fan of doing bigger pieces like this for the Dremel carving because I can't stand this up in here, right? You see it doesn't, because I got the roof there. So, but anyways, I'm going to draw this on, put the camera in the overhead right here and draw it on. Okay, so sorry, I know it's going to seem kind of like far away in the video when you're watching it, but I'm sure you can see what's going on here. So let's see here. How do we want to get rid of that red pen? How do we want to do this? Where do we want, because you want to make it so when it's straight on the wall, people are going to be able to see what's happening, right? So I think we'll start over here and just do nice smooth lines. Okay, you can always, so we got this line here. You can always cut farther past the line if you want for your original cut. We'll bring this one up here. We want to make these fairly wide. So I already screwed up there, so I already got the pen on the outside. We can actually make this bigger. Yeah, I've already screwed up. But you just fix your screw ups. It's no big deal. Man, there's going to be a lot of carving. Okay, so we're going from here to here. We got to fit 3 wood spirits in there. We're going to make this a bit wider here too. Oh yeah, this is going to be a friggin' nightmare to do. Like these videos, I don't spend days and days. I just kind of do them and get them done, right? So we'll put a wood spirit here. Actually, first what we're going to do is we're going to get one of these aluminum cutters. Hold on. This is just... Slow down, Jordy. Slow down. We're going to get one of these aluminum cutters here. Let's see. Probably the big one. No, these aren't. We're going to use... For fuck's sakes. So, number one, I apologize for the language. So this piece of wood here that I found was heavy, and I knew it was bone dry. And I didn't realize the type of wood it was till I put the finish on it. So it is 100% Pacific yew wood. And I'm surprised I didn't realize that when I was carving it. Because, well, I don't know why I didn't realize it. I don't know. Maybe George knew. But I don't know. Hope everybody's doing good. This is just going to be a quick little voiceover here. The end of the video will be more of a voiceover. I'm not a big fan of carving these bigger pieces for the YouTube videos because it's hard to see what's going on. But this is a super hard piece of wood. And basically, this video is not to show like techniques for carving and stuff. It's just techniques, what burrs work good. So basically, all I really do to use this piece, see there you see me cutting downhill. I basically just use these Chinese burrs and the aluminum cutting burrs pretty well. See, that's cutting downhill. Yep. Carry on. Okay, I want to take a quick minute here to talk about with this a cutter like this. You got to think of a cutter like this as kind of like a chisel, and almost not really the aluminum cutting burrs, but you can use the same theory. So when I very first started wood carving and I was going to use chisels and knives and stuff like that, a good friend of mine said, always remember to cut down the stairs with the grain, okay? So we're going to pretend each one of so here's the wood grain, like your center of your log, and the wood grain goes out like this, right? So here's the wood grain. Pretend these stairs, just like right here. Pretend these stairs are the wood grain. So if you're cutting down with a cutter like this, it's going to travel nice and smoothly down the stairs, right? As you're cutting through the grains, like each point is a grain. It's going to cut nice and smooth, and it just like a sled down the friggin' stairs. But if you're cutting up the grain, every time this burr hits the edge of the grain, it's going to chip it off. It's going to chip this off, chip this off, chip it off. So just remember when you're cutting with the grain to cut down. Does that make sense to you? Smooth when you're cutting down. If you're cutting up, it's going to hit these points and chip the wood. I tried to show it in my video. And you pretend this is the grain. Let's see here. It's hard for me to explain. Maybe Just Carve Rob could do a better explanation with his knives, or Ben's studio on the lake. Hi Rob. Hi Ben. Maybe they could do a better explanation. This is for the very beginning carvers too, right? So all the pros think they know. They might not know, but who knows? Who cares really? So if you go up the stairs, here's a grain here, here's a grain, and you're coming up the stairs, you're going to hit, pretend there's a grain right here. What it's going to do is just, well, how could I draw it chipped off? So it's going to go like this. Pretend it's here, but then it's going to just break off, right? And it's not going to be there because you're going to chip it off. I don't know. Carry on. So at this point, we got all the depth cut in here. This is super hardwood. I don't think it's a root piece, but I think this might even be a Pacific yew wood, or it's a super hard cherry wood or something like that. But yeah, so just to show you guys out there that think, oh, all he ever does is carve cottonwood, bark, or basswood that's super soft, or the western red cedar. Well, you don't get any harder wood than this from in the States or in the UK. Well, you can, but anyways, carry on. So yes, there is harder wood. I've carved it all. I've carved the hardest. I've carved the most dense. So another thing too, when you're carving a piece like this with the nice, and try and keep your lines smooth, you want to set up to do the, now we're going to get the faces in here. I don't know if I'm going to get 3, but you want to set up. So you want to do your block out first, get yourself some nice depth in there, right? And just make sure your depth is where you want it, and just this is the most boring part to do this, but take your time to do it, because then now the fun part comes in where you can carve what you want to carve, right? So, and I remember when I first started, this video might be long, I just don't give a shit. Well, I do, I don't want to annoy you guys, but anyways, how about I just shut up? So, another thing too, when I first started wood carving, I was like, oh, there's a crack in there, I can't carve it, it will be a piece of junk, there's no way I can carve it when there's a crack in there, throw it away, I just wasted my time. No, Jordy, that's wrong. Wood cracks. Cracks like this give it character, it lets people know that it's an old piece of wood. You know, sometimes when they do those pottery things meant to look like wood, they'll make it look like there's cracks in the wood to make it look old. So just remember that. Don't be annoyed by, yeah, sometimes they can be ugly if it's in the middle of a wood spirit's nose or something like that, but who cares? Like, this is just going to give it character. And you got to remember, the deeper that you cut the wood, the thinner the crack's going to get. Like on the outside of the wood, it's going to be like this, but the deeper that you cut into it, it's going to get thinner because it's getting closer to the, if there was a centerpiece in here, and there's not. So we're going to just carve some quick wood spirits, like they're kind of like the ghost spirits on this one. So you don't want to make them all like straight down. You want to kind of tilt the eyebrows and make them just, and when I do these kind of wood spirits, they don't have to be like crazy detailed. You know, you could put a detailed one in the middle with the real eyes, but they make the other ones like hollow eyes and just blend everything together, you know? So let's see here. How do we want to, what we'll do here is we'll start with the center one. So you got this crack there, and we don't want the crack to go down the nose. It can, but then half your nose could break off. But so let's see here. Let's do this. Like this. We'll kind of hit this one this way. Okay. And so this will be his forehead. And then his eyes can be here. His nose. Okay, so I kind of like it to make it so like it's flowing this way right now. So I'm going to bring his mustache down here. See that? I don't need to draw this in, but I will for the video. Right? Just see how it's all flowing? Then the other one, this piece is straight, so we could kind of make this one straight. This is going to be a lot of carving. Here's his nose. You know, it's okay to make the mustache just stop there at the edge. It gives it more character. So there's that one. Give him a little forehead. And then we got one up here. Then this one. So this one's tilted this way. So let's tilt this one this way a bit. See? This way, then this way. You guys will come up to your own got that crack there. Let's try and avoid that crack from the nose. And this mustache can come this way. And they don't need to have foreheads. Like this one here probably won't have a forehead. I'll just do my wind lines right onto his eyebrows. Okay? 1, 2, 3 amigos. Hiya, hiya. So on this video, I'm going to try my best not to use the Kutzall burrs because, well, some of you in the UK are like Claire out there in Spain. Hi, Claire. Hi, Liz. Hi, everybody. Some of you guys have a hard time getting the Kutzalls because it's super expensive to get them shipped there, right? So let's try and make this whole video with burrs that you can get off of Amazon that basically come from China. So I think I'll use these aluminum cutter burrs, and it's the same theory. Kind of sometimes you got to carve uphill. Like with the Kutzall burrs or the saber tooth, you can carve uphill, downhill, sideways hill. You can carve any freaking hill you want. But these ones, it will cut cleaner if you cut downhill. So what's a good one to use? I kind of like this one. These are like $20 for a set. So you get like 10 burrs. So you're getting the burrs for $2. And these last a long time too. So this one's not totally, let's see if we can get some better lighting here. This one's not totally sharp at the end. It's kind of rounded, so, and it's thin, so then I'll be able to cut the outlines of everything first, then take away the wood. Because I don't really use the ones with the sharp points too much. You see how sharp that one is compared to this one? Because then they'll leave scrapes in the wood. But there's lots of things you can use the sharp ones for. I got purpose for all these burrs in here. All right, so let's start off with this one, and let's do a voiceover. Another thing I want to talk about too, I'm running my Dremel on a foot pedal, my Dremel 4000 foot pedal. So the foot pedal is basically on and off. I don't know what happened, but the older Dremels would let you use a speed control foot pedal, but something in these new Dremels, they put a blocker on it. So the foot pedal is basically on off. But I suggest to anybody, get yourself a foot pedal so you don't have to keep on turning the Dremel on and off. I always basically carve full speed, like full tilt with the Dremel. But, you know, I just carve lighter. When I'm going around the nose, I just go lighter to the touch, right? You know, but when I'm carving here, I full speed ahead, right? Johnson heavy hands, break shit, do shit, get it done. Okay, so I'm just going to run this video live, like my dust collector table's working right now, so it might be a little bit loud. And I'm going to show you, so here's the aluminum cutter. Like all these burrs are in my Amazon store. It's easy for you guys to track down. So I'm just going to show you, let's cut in the eyes and the nose for this wood spirit here. You see how I'm just, so you see how good it cut there. Look how deep that is. I'm just going to slowly remove the wood. So these burrs do work awesome on hardwood. Yeah, you just keep cutting away. I'll stop now and say if you want to learn how to carve wood spirits, there's lots of videos, tutorials on my playlist about how to carve wood spirits step by step. This video is not really about that. This video is more about different types of burrs to carve the hardwood. But you guys can see how well this burr is working. And like this is super, super hardwood. Okay, so that's that. So you guys can see how good it actually works. Let's do the rest on super time lapse. Carving Fusion time lapse coming up here. Maybe some voiceover. The time lapse will just be blocking out these wood spirits, and then we'll talk about some details, different burrs. Okay, so here's a perfect example why I don't like to do the bigger sticks, because they won't fit inside my back wall for my table. So anyways, here's what we got. I'm not going to give them any eyes, and this wood is super hardwood. So now you can see here I got lines drawn on. I'm going to start cutting in the hair and blending them all in together. This one's just going to be nice lines following down. Let's see here. This one's going to be nice lines flowing down here. This one's going to connect to the eyebrows. We're going to go up here. And this one's just going to little things here. Things. Okay, so I did that all with this aluminum cutting burr. Like I said, they're in my Amazon store in the description below. They last a long time. They're awesome burrs. And I'm going to keep using this burr. And I'm going to cut in all the beard hairs with it. And this is when you really want to try to avoid cutting up the stairs, because that's when you're going to get chip outs in your beards, right? Because you're going to be cutting the wood thinner, right? So I'll do a time lapse using this and maybe a voiceover. And I just want to know, does anybody else use their art table as a ashtray? Okay, so here comes the final voiceover. So I want to say, when you're doing the wood spirits like this or whatever, just carve deeper and have fun. Just like let it go, and just nothing really needs to, well, I don't want to say make sense, but just when you're connecting the wood spirits, like the beard hairs and the hair hairs, just think of connecting the dots and try and make everything work nice and smooth. Like where they match up. Like that one's the top of the head down to the beard. Here is aluminum cutting bit. That's the, what is it, cylinder type. It's got the cutter on the bottom. That's what I do lots of beard hairs with. That burr. I'm cutting the forehead lines here. And I'm just going to run around and give them some quick details. Eyebrows. The eyebrow hairs. Couple little age lines underneath the eyes. Even at this point, I'm not even realizing that this was Pacific yew wood. Excuse me. Until I put the finish on it. And you know, the harder the wood, the less porous it is, so the less layers of finish, like clear coat, that you need to put on it. So there's a sanding mandrel. That's Emery Cloth. I'm going to show you guys a bit. I got some sanding mandrels ordered, and I'm going to be selling them. And I believe my buddy Larry Dibbs is going to be helping. So there's Emery Cloth. I get those rolls at KMS Tools. That's 80 grit. So Emery Cloth. So yeah, is it Emery Cloth? Yeah, Emery Cloth is the cloth with the sandpaper. Sorry, it's sandpaper with the cloth on the back. I can't talk right now. You see there, I put holes in it with the screwdriver, and I'm just putting the pieces on the screw, 4 forward and 1 backwards. Excuse me. And just putting the screw on the mandrel. And oh yeah, don't forget the washer. If you don't have the washers, the sandpaper will fly off. Tighten it up, then you're going to get a screwdriver and tighten it up, and you're good to go. So yeah, the Emery Cloth is the cloth back sandpaper. If you just use the paper stuff, it won't last very long. So just going to quickly sand it, and I decided that I'm going to sand this whole piece of wood. Like, I'm going to get rid of the weathered white look, because I realized this was nice wood at this point. And I did cut outside, like I said earlier in the video. If you're going to do something like this, try not to cut outside the mark, but I did a couple slip ups, and there was a couple cuts on the white stuff, so I said, "Ah, screw it. I'll sand the whole piece." You turn your Dremel down really low when you're doing this. If you keep it up maximum, you're gonna fry your Dremel. Here's the Benzomatico torch. That's that liquid fuel. What is it for light? Butane. Yeah, and you get some good little burning in there. Don't overburn your pieces. You know, like safe and right here, sign your pieces, people. If you overburn it, you're gonna burn away your detail. So if you try and get the burn into like a deep part of the carving, and it doesn't go in there because there's a cut in there, just use some paint, acrylic paint, and paint it in. And this buffing will, the way I buff this out, it will all blend together. So that's just a trick I do. Instead of burning away your detail, just cleaning up more. And here's the finished piece. The 3 Amigo wood spirits. And this is the Rust Oldham clear. I think that's satin, or yeah, satin. I had to go to the store to get another can. But at this point right now, that's when I realized it was Pacific Yew wood. I was thinking it all along, but it just didn't quite register. But that look right there, yep. Here it is outside. This is not very good lighting. I'm sorry I didn't realize it till I seen the video, so I had to make another video the next day. There's the first guy, the second guy, and what is that hanging there on the left there? Just carve, Rob. And here's the third guy. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, Liz. You guys all got dirty minds. That's okay. So terrible lighting, you can't see anything, but you can see how big the piece is there. So I did a cut through too in a couple spots. Now what is that? Well, I'll tell you, we're gonna fix that up. Yep, that's gone. Adios. Doesn't look what you think it looks like anymore, does it? Okay, there's that shouldn't be there, but let's just keep it going. That's that big 8-foot wood spirits done. Here's a different thing I did with some more lighting. Look, it's Dick Do, the fat grumpy mushroom. But here's some better lighting, you can see it. So like I said, this wasn't really about the carving. It was more about the burrs. And just kind of show you, open up your imagination. Have fun. Enjoy what you do. If you don't enjoy it, then don't do it. But the more you do, the better you're going to get, right? And just carve, Rob. We need more. We need a carving fusion song like you promised, buddy. Come on, you can do it.